So Emmanuel Sanders went on, what was it, NFL Network, ESPN, one of these things, and did his best to pump up Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value. I don't know for Jimmy, for the Niners. He essentially said that that Jimmy Garoppolo is like one of the best leaders he's ever been around. And this is a guy who's played with whatever, like Drew Brees,
Ben
Peyton Manning,
Roethlisberger.
Ben Roethlisberger, that he is like in that class of leader. That he leads meetings like a coach, that he is relatable. Like he's everything you want a professional quarterback, teammate, leader to be. What is your response? What is your thoughts on Emmanuel Sanders? Because I know what I think.
Well, first off, I totally buy that he's telling the truth in the sense that look how his teammates support him. Look at how many of these guys will go to bat to defend Jimmy Garoppolo, including the guys on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think what Emmanuel Sanders is saying is how a lot of the 49ers players feel, which is that, hey, Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, he took us from an 0-11 team to the Super Bowl in 2019. He did all of this and that, and look at his win-loss record and
he does
where we
everything
were
right
before.
off the field in the
Yeah,
meeting.
absolutely. Yeah, he's just
there must be a lot of quarterbacks out there who don't. That's my first. It's like there must be some babies out there if Jimmy Garoppolo is really impressing all these professionals. Sorry.
No, I think you're
like
right.
Baker Mayfield is like a freaking baby, right?
Yeah,
Total baby.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy's not a baby. I respect that. He was groomed by Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, who are very grown up. And even though Jimmy doesn't play like Tom Brady, he can comport himself as such and tries to.
Right, and there's just a certain maturity level with Jimmy Garoppolo that you might not see with other quarterbacks, even, well, I wouldn't say Trey Lance, but just a younger quarterback, like any example of a guy on a rookie deal. So I think the interesting thing, though, and I think I may know where you're going with this, is that if you listen to Emmanuel Sanders, he didn't talk about Jimmy Garoppolo's play at all.
Not once. No. So everything he said about him was like, yeah, great, okay, fine. Like, let him be the quarterback coach. Let him be the mascot of the team. Like, why does he have to play? If that's all you can say about him, that he's a leader, that he's a coach in the meetings, make him a coach. There's no salary cap. Make him a $27 million coach. But I don't want him playing. Say one nice thing about how he plays. Emmanuel didn't do it. I'm sure you could. But really, like, no one ever talks about how he plays. Ever.
No.
What other quarterback gets that kind of treatment? Like, he's not a coach. He's a quarterback. And you can't say anything really great about him as a quarterback other than, well, it wasn't his fault he was terrible in the playoffs. He was hurt. Well, that's the problem, though. He's always hurt. So
isn't that why the team made the trade in the first place? Like what are we talking about? The same issues over and over again with Jimmy Garoppolo. So I look, I think these guys will go to the ends of the earth to defend Jimmy Garoppolo because they went through a lot with him. They've been through a lot with him, and they've seen him behind the scenes. So there's certainly a level of respect that they have versus guys like Nick Mullins, who I know you love, but still a guy who, even when he had his opportunity, didn't quite have the team success that they may have had with Jimmy Garoppolo. So I think
he's making he has $110 million.
He's making
20, and like he could be way above everyone. I think people in Seattle felt that Russell Wilson was no longer relatable. Like, dude, we don't ever see you anymore. You're so rich and famous, you're gone. Jimmy's not like that. Even though he doesn't return text messages, he doesn't big time people in the facility. He's relatable, I guess. And I feel like they appreciate that because there's a lot of quarterbacks who aren't. I mean, Kirk Cousins is a weirdo. Sorry, Kirk. But everyone seems to not like you. I don't know why. It just seems, I don't know. So there's that. But I guess it doesn't matter how many former teammates of Jimmy Garoppolo say this. The league is not impressed, and he's going to have to be a backup for a while unless the 49ers are insane and start him for another year over Trey Lance, and I don't think they are. So he's probably going to have to be a backup for a while, and I'm curious to see how that goes for him because if he has to go to a new team and start over as a backup, how's that going to go? Do you love football that much? Are you willing to sort of be in obscurity? Because you've always been a media darling, even before you proved anything. Now you're rich beyond your wildest dreams. Like, are you built for the Brian Hoyer life? Is that because I feel like that might be what's in store for Jimmy Garoppolo? I don't really see him being a starter. I mean, even if he were to get a job, he'd lose it in a month. I would think either getting hurt or I just don't think he's clearly not a franchise starter anymore. He could be a bridge here and there, but there's always going to be a guy breathing down his neck. He's never going to play well enough to keep the job. How much stomach do you really have for football? You're almost, I mean, you're in your 30s now. You don't need to play. You don't need it anymore. You are set for generations. And now you have a very tedious, frustrating, non-glamorous section of your career coming up. How are you going to handle it? Are you going to go out like Cam Newton, who feels like, you know what? It's kind of beneath me to be a backup. That's kind of how I read Cam.
Yeah, and I think the only way he does even start is if a team trades for him or signs him from him getting cut, and they also draft another quarterback very high who they want to start within year one. That's the only way I see this playing out, where Jimmy Garoppolo even gets the opportunity to start. So I think, look, these guys can defend Jimmy Garoppolo all they want. Eric Armstead can. These players are going to come out of the woodworks to talk great about him, but the league, these teams who would be acquiring him, they certainly value him and see him a different way than the players do.
All I ever hear with these teammates who defend Jimmy Garoppolo is that they like him. You don't understand. I really like Jimmy. You don't understand. Like, I really, really like Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't care. Be friends with him in the offseason. I don't care if you like
Grant, even as much as you talk about Jimmy Garoppolo or I will, I think we still like Jimmy Garoppolo as a person.
I like Jimmy Garoppolo. He doesn't need to be the quarterback of the team, of the 49ers, but I like him.
That Subway commercial is great. I love it with his grandma in it. You know what? Great. That's fun, man. But go and do commercials.
That dude should not have a commercial. He's a backup quarterback. Also, it's funny that the whole joke in the commercial is that he says, "Oh, just like my nana used to make," and she's like, "I don't cook," and he's like, "You don't?" And she's like, "It's a good thing he's good looking." As in, the whole joke is everyone knows he's not smart, and that's true. He is. I've been calling him Zoolander since 2018. It just got. Is it not fair to call him I'm not going to call him an airhead. I'm not going to call him an airhead, but that's the joke in the commercial.
He's a little ditzy, Grant.
He's a little ditzy. He is. I'm sorry. I'll take. I don't want a ditzy quarterback. I want a quarterback who's a nerd, a freaking nerd who's obsessed with football. Not a guy like, man, I'll get to the playbook in July. No.